So I thought I'd do some morning cards this morning. I haven't done them for a while. And this one popped out. Education. 35 equals 8, which is your abundance. Notice how she's not really anywhere inside studying, but she's outside in nature studying. She's got the moon, the animals, spirit with her. And so I wanted a card to tell me what this was about. So I tossed another card, and these two literally fell out. They actually fell out like this. This is going to be blowing your mind here. If you turn this around and look at it, you have solitude and solitude. And then you have this. This was going to be for this card to explain what this card was about. So you have her out here studying outside, and it looks like she's studying ancient knowledge, and she's out here studying with spirit. And then you have the solitude card, but this was upside down. So you have two solitude cards in education that looks like solitude. This is crazy. But not only that, I have 4 decks that I put together. So I have 4 decks that I put together. And out of 4 decks, I got 2 different cards out of 2 different decks that have solitude on them. Isn't that a synchronicity? Plus, doesn't that solitude and that education look like the same thing? Not only that, this is what really got me. This just blew my mind. So I was in my kitchen doing my morning prep work for dowsing this morning. And I did a stretch in the kitchen after I got my water that I attune. I was drinking it and stretched. And I just happened to open my eyes, which I never do. And I just happened to look at the clock on the oven, which I never do. And it was 9:13 in the morning. And I calculated that up. 9:13 equals 13, which 13 is my lucky number. But look at this. 9:13. I literally had to stop. And I was just like, oh my God, I need a moment now. Because 2 cards out of 4 decks that have solitude on them fell out. Not only that, I got 913 again. I'm going to have to look that up as an angel number. 913 breaks down to a 13, breaks down to a 4, so that's stability. 13 is my lucky number. And I am pretty much usually always in solitude. But not only that, look at this. You have her in solitude studying. Spirit studying, or Spirit is giving her information. She's out there she's got the moon and she's got the animals. And then here, she's studying in solitude. She's getting ancient knowledge from ancient past times. 9, you can go into being enlightened. 9 is the number of enlightenment. And you got the stars and the ethers and the ancient knowledge of the earth. And then, of course, this is another solitude card with the moon too, but then this was upside down. So you have solitude, one upside down and one right side up. And then you have education and solitude. So then it got me thinking. It was like, okay, there's some serious meaning behind here. I mean, this just blew my mind. Because what I'm doing right now is I am writing a book on what I am doing through the ancient secret knowledge that I am getting while I'm in solitude. Because I've just been through a 3-year stigmatic cleansing, which if you know anything about stigmata, it is one of the hardest things you will ever do in your entire life. I looked down at the clock and it said 411, or at the counter. So a stigmata is one of the hardest things a person will ever do in their entire existence. I didn't go through a religious stigmata, I went through a spiritual stigmata, which is a stigmata through energy. So it's kind of like what you would consider an invisible stigmata, because it's through energy you feel. So instead of having the wounds of Christ, I could actually feel them vibrating and pulsing, and also feel the warm blood flowing down. It's the weirdest thing. So I feel instead of actually being able to see it. So 3 years I went through that. And so now I'm collecting all the information that I have acquired through this stigmatic cleansing and through going through all my past lives and whatnot and putting it into knowledge with a book. And what I've found, and of course, we all know this, but how many actually practice it? We all have energetic cords connected to us by other people that we have had connections with. So say this is one person and this is another person. Every time you think about this person, within a certain amount of time, that person will start thinking about you. Because you know this person, so you're connecting an energetic cord to them. This is how telepathy worked in the ancient times. You could be clear across the world and start thinking about somebody, and they'll start thinking about you. Now the thing is if you are thinking about them and they're thinking about you, you've just opened up an energetic cord between the two of you to have conversation. But since we don't know how to use it this day and age, we just think about this and think about that, and we'll think about them, and we'll think about them, and we'll think about over here, and think about this, and then pretty soon you've got all these energetic cords opened up, and they're thinking about you. And so what happens is if you have two people that are energetically, say this person is a higher vibrational energy, and this person is a lower vibrational energy, and you connect up with them by just thinking about them a lot, and guess what? All the thoughts that they're thinking, negative thoughts about themselves or you, is transferred back into that cord, into you. So what happens is you start thinking like them. You start carrying that energy of the person you're thinking about, or vice versa. Or if you're both in a negative vibration, then you both are feeling ugh. And then if you connect up with this person and they're not feeling good, you're connecting with their bad thoughts. They're not having a good day. They don't think good of themselves. So then pretty soon you don't think good of yourself. You don't think good of yourself because of this person. You don't think good of yourself because of this person or this person. All these people that you're thinking about, if they're all in a negative vibration, which you are who you hang around, right? You start hanging around certain people, you start taking on those traits of those people. Well, you start thinking like them because you're energetically connecting and sending information back and forth. Facebook it's a great tool, but a horrible way to disempower you in your energy. Because every story that you read, everything that you connect with, you can hook up an energetic cord between you and that person. So as you're scrolling and reading and clicking like and writing your stuff, or you get in a fight on Facebook, you're connecting energetic cords between all of those people and you. So every time you do that, you lessen your power, lessen your energy, lessen your energy, until you're just absolutely thinking horribly about yourself and you're ready to just go jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. And it's not you, it's everybody else that you're connected to. That's why it's so important. Like for me, I'm a super duper empath. Of course we all are, but being stigmatic, I have been through the whole cleansing process. And so my sensitivity is like off the charts. So I have to really be protective of my energy. And this is what I want to teach people, because we're all the same. We all have the same abilities. You can do the exact same thing as I have done if you want to. The thing is having solitude is extremely important, but also having time not in solitude is extremely important too. When you're educating yourself, it's important to be in solitude, because if you're trying to educate yourself and you're mixing your energy up with all these different things, like I'm going to read a chapter and I'm going to scroll on Facebook, or I'm going to read a chapter and I'm going to text so-and-so, I'm going to read another chapter and then this person calls me. Well, you're connecting energetic cords with all those people while you're trying to educate yourself and study. This is why I don't like to turn my phone on until after I've done all of my stuff in the morning, because I'm educating myself with spirit, with God. So what I'm doing in the morning is I try to get up and do my morning prep work. And my morning prep work is a really, you can do it, yeah, I'm putting it in the book that I'm writing, because it needs to be done before you do the dowsing. And the dowsing is an ancient tantric yogic system. It's like yoga, but it's not. So this is the original yoga that everything else nowadays is derived from. It's a combination. What I get, it's not really a combination, but it would look like a combination of, say, Tai Chi and yoga at the same. So you have yoga type moves that you lock into for a mudra, but you also move from mudra to mudra in a certain way. And it's very sensual, it's very grounding, it's very, whew. I mean, when you start doing it, and the energy that you get from this is absolutely off the freaking charts. You in the morning prep work, what you do is you have a whole system that you do before you even do the dowsing to prep for it. And there's purpose in all of that. There's a reason for all of that. Because when you get to the dowsing, what it is based on for is not just yoga for you. If you know anything about energy, everything that you do vibrates out, not only into the earth, but out into the ethers, the space, universe, whatever you want to call it. So you are extremely important. Every single person on this planet is extremely important, because everything you do affects everything else and everyone else. All the energy that you hold vibrates out. This is why people can access past lives so easily, because the energy that you have had on this planet many, many times is injected as an energy into the planet. It's going to be here forever. That energy is infused into the earth. Every time you have a thought, a feeling, or anything, it's injected. I know this because the way I've been able to go back into past lives through mudras, being locked into certain mudras that I had during past life deaths, as soon as I hit that mudra, that was like, it's kind of like if you hold a certain pose that you were doing right before your death, I could lock into the energy of that and be right there and see it and feel it energetically and see everything around me. I had this whole movie play going on around me of the situation, and then I would my body would start moving and do the same thing that I did at that point, because it's like an energetic sludge trail. Everything you do leaves energy. And when you do is when you want to go back, you just go back and you infuse into the energy of that past. It's really interesting. But it's really important to be in solitude first thing in the morning. And a lot of people, they like to get on their phone and see who messaged them, or get on Facebook and see what's going on, or put the news on, or whatever before they do anything. And this morning prep work that you do, it preps you for the dowsing. So what it does is it cleanses all of your systems, like your lymphatic system, your respiratory system, your bone system, blood system, all your systems, top to bottom, inside and out, through all layers, space, and time. So you bring back and cleanse all of your systems. So anytime you've had issues with your physical body in any lifetime, you're bringing all that back and cleansing it. Not only that, yourself. And then in the end, you bring all of your divine feminine and divine masculine back to self. After you've cleansed everything, you bring all of your energy of your divine feminine and divine masculine back to self. So when you breathe in, you're bringing in all of your masculine and feminine from not only the times that you've lived here, but all the times that you've lived out there. And you're bringing it all back to self. That's this whole thing, is you're bringing everything back to self. This is very, very important to do before you actually engage with the day. This is why I think I got all these looking like solitude cards, because education, I educate myself in the morning through my morning prep work and my morning dowsing, and then I do my writing. So once I have done my morning prep work and I have cleansed my systems and brought all of my divine masculine, divine feminine energy back to myself, then I do a full chakra bath with my Tibetan singing bowl that I have infused, that I have water in. So I change the molecular structure of the water and attune all of my chakras prior, also before doing the morning dowsing. And so that way, when I go to do my morning dowsing, I'm not only cleansed of all of my systems and all of my energy, masculine and feminine, but I've brought everything back to self. And so I am whole and I am cleansed when I do my dowsing. So that way, when I actually start doing my dowsing, it is very, very, very powerful. The purpose of dowsing is to be able to vibrate your whole body with light and echo it out into the earth, into the atmosphere, into everything. Because as I just talked about, everything you do is energy. And so you vibrate your chakras, create your aura that is around you. So your aura is going to be vibrating different colors of light depending on what your chakras are vibrating. Because if you go to it and get a picture of an aura, which I've done, they're amazing, you can see what's coming in the future, because what you're manifesting out through your chakras is coming back, is infused into your auric field, and then that is vibrating out, pulsing nonstop. You have over 80,000 chakras on your body, pulsating out, and what is pulsating out is what you are going to be getting back in. So your chakras are vibrating out, creating your auric field around you, certain colors, and they're vibrating out, and that's vibrating out into the universe. And then the universal energies get busy and bring what you're vibrating out back to you, because that is what you're drawing in. See, everything you think has an energetic DNA imprint on it. So that way when it vibrates out, you have an energetic imprint of energy coming back to you. And if so-and-so across the country you're manifesting, guess what? You're going to be getting an information of, you need to do this and this and this. And it may be just something simple. That way this person can contact you across the world. That's just how it works. It's really interesting how that thing works. So they're going to be getting infused with your energy because you've already manifested it. So all these people, places, and things are going to start coming to you because this is what you're manifesting. It's absolutely amazing how the system works. So when you do the dowsing, you are vibrating. And so you engage the Bindu chakra because you have your head bowed, which cuts off your energy center at your throat and engages your Bindu chakra, which then engages the nectar of life in your throat, which then vibrates out. So that if you go and research the nectar of life by engaging the Bindu chakra, there's yogis that can live on just the nectar of life alone because it's just vibrating, pulsating light. So there's beings out there that can live on nothing but light. It's amazing. So what you're doing is you're doing that. You're engaging your Bindu chakra. You are catching the nectar of life in your throat, and you're vibrating out beautiful, beautiful vibrating light, not only into the earth, so you're cleansing and raising the vibration of the earth, which in turn vibrates out a better energy, and then everything that is on the earth gets that energy. So you are healing the planet with your healed, come back to self energy. So if you're just doing yoga or just doing dowsing and not understanding how to do the prep work prior to the dowsing, you're only healing yourself. But what you're doing once you've done all of this is you're vibrating out a healed, beautiful, vibrating light energy. So you are healing the planet. So you're vibrating the whole planet with light. And then that echoes out into everything, the animals, people, and everything. And they're getting that energy of that vibrating light. Plus you are vibrating out into the ethers, into the universe. So you are vibrating and healing everything that goes into your energy, which everything is all one. As we know, the universal mind, everything is all one. So as you're doing it, everything is getting healed. Space and time. It's an absolutely amazing system. It's so powerful. Oh my gosh. I was in the house one day doing my dowsing, and I stood up to do the leap of faith, and you don't just jump up, right? Because dowsing works on energy. So if you are pumping so much energy that when I stood up, and you stand up slowly, and then you take the leap of faith, and then you take the breath of God. I literally passed out. I'm like, stood up slowly, took the leap of faith, took my deep breath of God, and then boom. Literally, I almost hit my head on the TV stand. All the crystals on the stand just, I hit the floor that hard. I was like, wow. I sit there on the floor like, did that just really happen? I mean, there's been times where I've been close, but I can't imagine trying to teach this to people, because it vibrates so much energy and so much light that if your body isn't quite used to the vibrating energy light that you're producing, it will knock you out. Oh my gosh, I wish I would have had that on video. I'm glad I was inside and not outside on the concrete. Good Lord. I'm gonna have to teach people to do this with like pads underneath of them. So it's really important, for me, after my dowsing that I do, by the time I'm done, it's just, I'm in such a, I think you would call it a beta stage, in such my brain waves and everything are slowed way down, and I'm back to self. And I'm such in communication with spirit and God at that time. That is when I like to do my writing. And I also writing in my book, and if I do anything like if I want to do any writings for Facebook or anything or anybody, I'll do it at that time, because I'm so connected with God at that point that nobody else is in my energy. So I'm not being tainted by this person or this person or this person or this person. I've cut all my cords. I've come back to self. I've brought all layers and cleansed it back to self, and I am just me. And when you're just you, then you get all this information, because all the information and everything that exists is within you. That's why Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It is so true. Because every time you have lived a life, which you've lived billions of lives, you are a never-ending, infinite being of light, and you have lived so many lives you can't even imagine the lives that you've lived. And so when you open yourself up and quiet your mind. That's why everybody says to meditate, because when you open yourself up and quiet your mind, and with the dowsing, it's easier to do because you have a certain system that you do. The way you think and the way you do the mudras and the way you feel brings you back to self so fast that you can't think of two different things at the same time. And when you have that vibrating light that you have in your body, you just can't think of anything else, because you're concentrated on what you're sending to the earth and sending to the ethers, and so you don't have time. So all these other things just disappear, and then pretty soon you're just studying with God. You're getting all this ancient wisdom and ancient knowledge, and that's what I do when I'm done, is I channel all that knowledge and put it into my book and put it into my teachings for people. I've spent about 3 years doing this with all solitude. I'm just now starting to get out into the world, but it's so important because we live in the world that we have to get out and start doing things. I've collected my information that I need for my book and whatnot, and so now it's important for me to learn to have this time and not just stay in this nonstop, to actually get out and start doing things, and that's what I'm starting to do. But it's really important to cut your cords. Really important to cut your cords. I cut my cords every night. If I'm going out and doing things, as soon as I get home, I cut my cords. You can do it using a selenite stick, selenite crystal, rubbing it all over your body and just imagining all the cords coming off, because we live in a virtual reality, right? We do. Where what you think about, you bring about. Whatever you think, you vibrate out and you create. We just talked about that. Your chakras are vibrating. Your mind is creating. So you're nonstop creating things. So whatever you're thinking about, you're bringing back to you. So if you're hooked up to Joe Blow over here and Betty Sue over here, and they're really low vibing, say they're into some bad things and they're not doing so good, guess what? They're siphoning your energy, bringing you down to them, putting their thoughts in your head, and then pretty soon you don't feel very good. And you're all upside down, inside out, and all over the place. So it's really important, especially in the morning, to regroup yourself, get yourself back to self, get educated. You know, you can do your morning meditation. I usually do my meditation or channeling sessions after I do my morning prep work and morning dowsing. It's really a great system. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. It was really interesting how this whole thing came out. You know, I just wanted a card to see what this meant. Education. Well, 3 + 5 is 8. That's abundance. You got the moon, the animals, you got spirit, educating yourself. Looks like she's educating herself. 9 is enlightenment in solitude. You have to do that, because if not, then what you're doing, this is why I don't like to, this is why I just now started reading books. Like I just started reading Dolores Cannon's books, probably about a few weeks ago. But I never read anybody else's book while I was going through my stigmatic awakening. I didn't even know I was going through a stigmatic awakening. I just thought I was having a spiritual awakening that I tried to explain to people, and they thought I was crazy because nobody else has had these experiences before. I just thought I was having a really wild spiritual awakening. It was just crazy. But I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, it's really important, there it is, it was really important for me to be able to educate myself through spirit without having everybody's books, because every time you read somebody's book, you're taking on their energy and their thoughts. So what I did is for 3 years, 3.5, almost 3.5 years, I just studied with spirit. So I got my information, whatever was coming down into my crown chakra and coming into my head, I was writing down. And I wasn't getting any information from anybody else. So the last 3.5 years, all this information that I'm getting is straight from source God. So I'm just now starting to read Dolores Cannon's books, which is absolutely blowing my freaking mind, because the stuff that she is talking about, well, she doesn't even talk about it. She was a hypnotist that hypnotized people back to their past lives, and then ETs or other beings would come in and assist and give her information through the people that she was hypnotizing of ancient times and other planets and other solar systems and other dimensions. And I mean, it's just crazy, amazing, because the stuff that she is transcribing, because what she did is all the tapes that she had, she compiled a few of them and put them into books. So you're looking at the words verbatim speaking, not her take on everything, but the actual words verbatim through what they were dialoguing. And what these people are talking about is a lot of the stuff, but the stuff I'm getting is more detailed in certain things. But what I'm learning, the stuff that I didn't understand, is making the rest of this stuff come together. It's like the glue that I was missing to hold my stuff together. Not only that, giving me the confidence that knowing this information that I was getting from spirit for the last 3.5 years is correct. Because when all you do is talk to people that don't have a clue of what you're talking about, which is nothing bad, it's just that I was on a different energy level. You know, I was in a different vibration than these other people that didn't have a clue of what I was talking about. And that really does a number on your psyche, because you start doubting yourself and you start doubting your information. I quit writing for almost 6 months, because I was starting to doubt the information I was getting, because everybody around me was like, oh, no. But now that I'm starting to get around people, I'm starting to attract people to me that are starting to understand what I'm talking about. That gives me the confidence. And then, of course, starting to read Dolores Cannon's books. I read her ancient knowledge book in, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. I just ate that up, because it was like, yeah, this is what I'm getting. It's just amazing. So it builds your confidence. And then once your confidence is built, then you can start going out and intermingling with people that maybe are in a lower vibration, because you can hold that energy yourself. But when you're in that energy of doubt, you start taking on everybody else's energy. So it's really important to be confident in yourself, because if you're not confident in yourself, then that lowers your vibration. But if you're confident and you know your truth, then you start bringing people and places and things to you that will make you understand that you are a confident being you are, because we all have the same abilities. We all are extremely important. Because if you didn't exist, none of us would exist. Everybody on this planet, every being in this universe and other universes and other dimensions are so important for the whole thing. Without one, none of us would exist. It's really interesting how that works. Anyway, I just thought I would take a video of that. I thought that was really interesting. This is Nicole Renee on Enlightened Energy, and I'm hoping that I was able to enlighten you just a little bit more today. Have a blessed day.